Hello everyone, myself Dr. Preeti Yadav. I am working as Assistant Professor of Physics in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. I am from Applied Science Department. Today I will discuss moment of inertia and Euler's law of motion for rigid body. Let's start. First of all, what is moment of inertia? The moment of inertia is basically defined in a rotational motion. The moment of inertia is defined as the quantity expressed by the body resist its angular movement acceleration, and that is equal to the sum of the product of the mass of every body, every particle inside a body with its square of a distance from the axis of rotation. Basically, moment of inertia is same as mass in linear motion. Moment of inertia behave as a mass in rotational motion, and whereas simple mass m is used as a in linear motion. Moment of inertia of a body about an axis is a measure of the difficulty in starting, stopping, or changing the rotation of the body about that axis. If there is a greater difficulty in starting, it means there is a greater moment of inertia about moment of inertia of the body about that axis. Similarly, if the greater mass of the body, the greater is inertia, as greater force is required to move the body if the mass of the body is very high. They similarly in rotation, greater torque is required. Greater torque is turning effective force. Basically, force is in rotational motion is required to change the state of rotation of the body. If we apply a torque, then the rotation of state of the rotation of the body change, and then the greater its rotational inertia. Hence, this rotational inertia of the body is called the moment of inertia of the body about the axis of rotation. Moment of inertia, mi is the moment of inertia, is the rotational analog of mass in translatory motion. Therefore, moment of inertia is same as a mass in translatory motion. Similarly, if mass is more, then there is a greater difficulty to translatory motion. Same in rotational motion, if moment of inertia is more, then there is a greater difficulty to start, to rotate, to change the state of rotation of the body. Then moment of inertia, that is equal to sum of the masses of every particle inside a body and the square of their perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. This is a body, this is the axis of rotation AOB. Here the particle 1 whose mass m1 and the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation is r1. Similarly, second particle whose mass m2 and there is their perpendicular distance r2 from the axis of rotation. And same here, m3 for particle 3 and whose perpendicular distance r3 from the axis of rotation. Up to this is a nth particle whose mass is mn and whose perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation r. There are n particles and situated at perpendicular distances r1, r2, rn from. As the body rotates, each particle of the body follows a circular path around the axis. If the body rotates, then the particle also rotate. Although each particle of the body has the same angular speed is same angular because in rotation there is a speed is known as angular speed omega, and the linear velocity v of each particle depends upon particle distance. The velocity v is depends upon the particle distance from the axis of rotation, because we know that there is a relation between linear velocity and angular velocity. V is equal to r omega. Here r is the that distance, particle distance from the axis of rotation. Let us consider a particle of mass m1 follows a circular path of radius r1, and the linear velocity of this particle is v1, and we know that there is a relation between linear velocity and angular velocity, that is equal to v1 is equal to r1 is the perpendicular distance, that omega. Now we know that rotational kinetic energy of the particle, so mass m1 is equal to half m1 v1 square. Put the value of v1, that is equal to r1 omega, half m1 r1 square omega square. And there is no I taking out 1 by 2 and omega from the summation, and inside the summation where I goes 1 to n, mi mass of the ith particle and ri is a perpendicular distance of ith particle from the axis of rotation. Now moment of inertia, this term represents the moment of inertia. Therefore moment of inertia for n particle, mi is the mass of the ith particle and ri square is the squaring of the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. And now rotational kinetic energy in terms of moment of inertia is RKE, means rotational kinetic energy. That is equal to half, replace this term by I, moment of inertia is represented by I and omega square. This is the relation between rotational kinetic energy and the moment of inertia. The moment of inertia of a body about an axis is directly proportional to the mass of the body. Here moment of inertia is directly proportional to the mass of the body and also squaring of the distance of the particle from the axis of rotation. If mass is greater, means moment of inertia is greater, and the distance is greater, moment of inertia also is greater. Now the next term is radius of gyration. Consider a body. Here this is a body of mass m. This is a mass m, is a entire mass, means center of mass, where whole mass is concentrated, whole mass of the body is said to be concentrated at point P. Is the mass m1 of particle 1 whose perpendicular distance r1, and consider a particle inside a body m2, second particle whose mass m2 and their perpendicular distance r2. And this point is here, consider whole mass of the body be imagined to be concentrated at a point P. The distance of the point P from the axis of rotation is K. Now moment of inertia about the axis of rotation can be written as, at point P, I is equal to, we know that, but product of mass, here mass is m and the perpendicular distance is K, m K square. Here K is called the radius of gyration of the body with respect to the axis of rotation. K is the perpendicular distance of the point P where whole mass is concentrated. That is, from point is called the center of mass of the body. The K is the distance from the axis of rotation to the point where whole mass is concentrated. Now definition is, radius of gyration of a body capable of rotation about an axis defined as the distance of the point, here distance of the point from the axis of rotation where the entire mass of body is imagined to be concentrated from the axis of rotation. Let us consider an example. Moment of inertia of thin rod of mass m and length L about an axis through its center are perpendicular to its length. and moment of inertia of thin rod is equal to I is equal to m L square by 12. We know that I is equal to mk square, and here k is equal to L by root 12. The radius of gyration is a measure of the distribution of a mass of a body, distribution mass of body relative to a given axis of rotation. A large radius of gyration means, if large k means an average, the mass is relatively far from the given axis of rotation. Here, if k is large means that point mass is so far away from the axis of rotation. The SI unit of radius of gyration is the meter, because it's a distance. Therefore, the unit of radius of gyration is meter. Now, the theorems on moment of inertia. There are basically two theorems. First is parallel axis theorem, and the second is perpendicular axis theorem. First is parallel axis theorem. From the name, it is clear that used for parallel moment of inertia of two axes which is parallel to each other. The moment of inertia of a body about any axis, like this axis, is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia of the body about a parallel axis. This is parallel axis, and that about the parallel axis, and that passes through the center of the mass. Here is the center of the mass where all mass is concentrated, and the product of the mass of the body, and the square of the distance between the axes. Basically, at point P, the moment of inertia IP, that is equal to the moment of inertia of the body, same body, about a parallel axis. That parallel, like this is parallel axis passing through the center of mass, is the center of mass, and the product of the mass of the body, whose mass is m, and the distance, square of the distance between the axis. This is called Steiner's theorem, also parallel axis theorem. Let us proof of this theorem is, let ICM is the moment of inertia of that body about an axis passing through the center of mass, and IP is the moment of inertia of the same body about another axis, and which is parallel to the original one. IP and this are parallel to each other. If D is the distance between the two parallel axes, M is the mass of the body, then according to parallel axis theorem, IP this is equal to ICM, means ICM passes through the center of the mass, and the mass of the body M, and the square of the distance D square. This is the parallel axis theorem, means IP is equal to ICM plus MD square. Now the second theorem is perpendicular axis theorem. The moment of inertia of a body about any axis perpendicular to its surface, this axis perpendicular to its surface, is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia about two perpendicular axes in the plane of the body. All the three axes, this passes through the same point of the body. Here the z axis, the moment of inertia along z, that is equal to sum of the moment of inertia about x axis and y axis, and these three axes passes through the same point of the body, like O. From these three axes passing through a same point O. Consider a plane body of a plate of zero thickness of mass m, capital M. X and y axis be two mutually perpendicular axis lines in the plane of the body. The axes intersect at origin O. let Ix be the moment of inertia of the body about x-axis, and Iv moment of inertia of the body along y-axis, and Iz be the moment of inertia about z-axis. Then from the definition of perpendicular theorem, Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy, and this is the perpendicular axis theorem for moment of inertia. Now the next is Euler's equation of motion. This is basically a equation that defines the motion of rigid body in 3D, in three dimension. A set of equation measures the rotation of a rigid body referred to its own axis are known as Euler's equation of motion of a rigid body with one point fixed. Means one reference frame is fixed and other reference frame is moving. Let us consider a rigid body which one point is fixed, means in a fixed frame of reference. Hence translation motion of the body is absent because point is fixed, there is no translation. And basically the Euler's equation of motion measures the equation in rotation of a rigid body. Basically define the rotational motion of the rigid body. The body rotates about an axis, passes through the fixed point. Now the rotation of the body takes place under the action of torque, because the rotation is where torque is the force, is the turning effect of the force. Then the rotation of the body is done by the force torque. And the equation of the rotational motion of the body in fixed frame is given by, we know that the torque is the rate of change of angular momentum. And here torque is represented by N, that is equal to dl by dt, rate of change of angular momentum. Here L is the angular momentum. And this is in fixed frame of reference. And we know that from rotating coordinate system, there is a relation between fixed and body. Frame of reference here is dr by dt, means velocity in fixed frame, that is equal to dr by dt in body, that is moving, rotating, plus omega cross r. R is the position vector, omega is the angular velocity. Now the equation of motion in terms of L, in terms of angular momentum, that is equal to N is equal to, because dl by dt is torque, dl by dt in fixed frame, that is equal to dl by dt, means angular momentum of a body which is rotating, plus omega cross r. Here r, here r, therefore in this equation we also used L here. Omega is the angular velocity of the body, L is the angular momentum. And we know that in my previous lecture I discussed that there is a relation between angular momentum and moment of inertia, that is L is equal to I omega. Here I is the moment of inertia tension and is constant with respect to the body frame of reference. Now there are a moment of inertia. We used Ixx along rotation of the along x-axis, rotation of the moment of inertia along x-axis, and Iyy moment of inertia with respect to rotation of y-axis, and Izz moment of inertia along z-axis. And we also here we choose only principal axis of body with respect to which the off diagonal elements of the moment of inertia tensor vanish. Only we take here only diagonal elements I1, I2 and I3. These are the diagonal elements and these are also known as the principal moment of inertia. And here we use, these are the off diagonal elements are also known as the product of moment of inertia about any two axes. if I1, I2 are the principal moment of inertia, principal means moment of inertia are only on the diagonal of the matrix. Now, the expression for angular momentum 2 in terms of moment of principal moment of inertia becomes L is equal to I1. We're taking the component of I in 3 axis, also taking component of omega in 3 axis. I1 omega xi along x-axis plus I2 omega yj along y-axis plus I3 omega zk along z-axis. Now find the value of dl by dt, means rate of change of angular momentum. Therefore, differentiate with this terms, this equation with respect to t. I1 omega x dot I plus I2 omega y dot j plus I3 omega z dot k. Here we used here I is the moment is constant with respect to body frame. Therefore, here the differentiation, if you use here product rule, in this I, j and also constant. If you use here product rule, then the differentiation of I1 and I are 0 because these are the constant quantity. Now we find the value of omega cross L because here we find the value of dl by dt. Now we have found the value of omega cross L. And using determinant form ijk, here the component of omega x, omega y, omega z in along 3 axis, and the component of L here I1 omega x, I2 omega y, I3 omega z along 3 axis. Now find the value of omega cross L. I for I3 minus I2. After solving this, we get I3 minus I2 omega y omega z minus j component I3 minus I1 omega x omega z plus k I2 minus I1 omega y omega s. Now the equation of rotational motion of the rigid body becomes, this is the equation. Put the value of dl by dt body, this I1 omega x dot I plus I2 omega y dot j plus I3 omega z dot k plus I. Put the value of omega cross L by using this equation. Therefore, put these values. Now, collect the terms I1 here, I here, this and this means I1 omega x dot plus I3 minus I2 omega y omega z, taking common I. Similarly, j component plus j component is I2 omega y dot plus I1 is there is minus j, therefore I1 minus I3, taking common minus, then inside the bracket there is a positive. I1 minus I3 omega x omega z plus k, here I3 omega z plus I2 minus I1 omega x omega y. Now if torque is expressed in terms of its component, therefore the component of torque is along x-axis I tan x, along y-axis j and y plus k along and z along z-axis. Then equating the equation, then we get both side of the above equation. Then we get the value of torque along x-axis nx. This term I1 omega x dot plus I3 minus I2 omega y omega z. Similarly, ny I2 omega y dot plus I1 minus I3 omega x omega z. And z component nz I3 omega z plus I2 minus I1 omega x omega y. These are the required Euler's equation that define the motion of the rigid body with one point fixed in rotation. And the important questions of today's lectures are: first is what is moment of inertia and radius of gyration. Second, explain parallel and perpendicular theorems with diagram and with explanation. And the third is very important, derive Euler's equation for rigid body. Thank you.